Beneath the thunder of artillery and the whine of jet engines, the rhythm of modern infantry combat is still dictated by the hard, relentless bark of the general-purpose machine gun. Among these battlefield workhorses, two names stand out across generations and continents: America's M240 and Russia's PKM. Forged by different doctrines and designed for different wars, these two guns have seen action in every major conflict, from the Cold War to Ukraine, from Iraq's deserts to Afghanistan's mountains. One is a symbol of Western firepower and engineering heft. The other, a masterpiece of Soviet minimalism and battlefield pragmatism. But which one truly holds the edge in today's brutal, fast-moving conflicts? When it comes to general-purpose machine guns, few weapons have seen such widespread and enduring use as the American M240, known internationally as the FN MAG. First adopted by the US military in the late 1970s to replace the M60, the M240 has proven itself in virtually every theater of modern warfare. In its standard infantry configuration, the M240B, the weapon stretches just under 50 inches, from buttstock to muzzle, making it a physically commanding presence on the battlefield. Much of that length is due to its 24.8-inch quick-change barrel, which helps it sustain high volumes of fire without reheating. Its height from the base of the pistol grip to the top of the feed cover measures approximately 10.4 inches, while the receiver width is around 4.7 inches, providing a solid, boxy profile that reflects its robust internal mechanics. Weighing in at 27.6 pounds, unloaded with a bipod, the M240B is not a weapon meant for quick maneuvering, but rather for reliable, sustained suppression. In response to its weight penalty, the US military introduced the M240L variant, which trims the system down to 21.8 pounds by replacing steel components with titanium. This variant also shortens the total length to 44.5 inches, slightly improving portability without sacrificing performance. Even more compact is the M240H, designed for aerial and vehicle-mounted applications, which comes in at 41.6 inches and 26.3 pounds. The Russian PKM, designed by a true genius, Mikhail Kalashnikov, and first introduced in 1961, is a textbook example of Soviet engineering. Simple, rugged, and devastatingly efficient. As a successor to the RP-46, the PKM was built around the powerful 7.62 by 54mm R cartridge, one of the oldest military rounds still in active use, and optimized for mass production, portability, and battlefield resilience. Measuring approximately 46.5 inches in overall length, the PKM is slightly more compact than its American counterpart, the M240, while still retaining a full-length barrel of about 25.6 inches. This longer barrel gives it a flatter trajectory and higher muzzle velocity, particularly valuable for long-range fire support. The gun's height, sans optics or accessories, stands at roughly 9.5 inches, and its slim, minimalist profile, only about 3.6 inches wide at the receiver, reflects a clear priority on lightweight functionality over modularity or bulk. Indeed, one of the PKM's most notable traits is its weight. At just 16.5 pounds unloaded and with a bipod, it is dramatically lighter than both the M240 and the German MG5. This low mass is no accident. Soviet doctrine emphasized mobility for infantry and mechanized troops alike, and the PKM delivered. A belt-fed GPMG that a single soldier could realistically carry and fire without requiring a dedicated crew. This emphasis on portability, combined with the PKM's stamped steel receiver and minimalist furniture, results in a machine gun that feels almost Spartan when compared to its NATO rivals. Despite the lighter frame, the PKM remains durable under combat stress, capable of firing 650 to 750 rounds per minute through a single gas-operated long-stroke piston system. Its practical field dimensions and weight underscore its operational philosophy. Firepower should be mobile, serviceable in austere conditions, and as close to foolproof as possible. From the jungles of Vietnam to the deserts of Syria, the PKM's size and design have made it a ubiquitous presence in global conflicts for over 6 decades. When comparing the physical dimensions of the M240 and PKM, one quickly sees that each machine gun is a reflection of its nation's military philosophy and battlefield priorities. The American M240, particularly in its standard infantry configuration, the M240B, is the bulkiest in the field, stretching nearly 50 inches in length and tipping the scales at 27.6 pounds. Its design emphasizes durability, sustained firepower, and battlefield reliability, even at the cost of portability. The weapon is a beast of burden, meant to be crew-served or vehicle-mounted, and its physical heft is consistent with the US military's tendency to prioritize fire superiority and mechanical overmatch in dismounted operations. In contrast, the Russian PKM offers a drastically different profile. It is shorter at roughly 46.5 inches, but more importantly, it is significantly lighter, only 16.5 pounds in its base form. That dramatic weight reduction isn't the result of exotic materials or advanced engineering, but rather a utilitarian design optimized for mass production and individual mobility. The PKM can be carried and fired by a single infantryman without major encumbrance, and it remains one of the most portable GPMGs ever fielded. Its slimmer width and minimalist frame further reinforce its role as a maneuverable belt-fed system, tailored for the rugged and often austere combat environments favored by Soviet and post-Soviet doctrine. The American M240 operates via a gas-driven long-stroke piston system and fires from an open bolt, ensuring consistent cooling and reliability under sustained fire. Propellant gases are siphoned through a port beneath the barrel into a regulator, driving the piston and bolt carrier rearward. This action extracts and ejects the spent case and compresses the return spring, which then chambers a new round and primes the weapon for the next shot. The bolt swivels into a locking shoulder within the receiver, and a static firing pin is struck as the bolt rotates. Eliminating the need for a Hammer A 3-piston gas regulator enables the user to vary cyclic rates between roughly 650 and 950 rounds per minute, providing adaptability in adverse conditions. In contrast, the Russian PKM follows a similarly robust principle. A long-stroke gas piston setup, open bolt firing, and a rotating bolt head to lock the action. The piston is rigidly attached to the face of the bolt carrier, moving as one unit, meaning the piston, carrier, and rod travel rearward together after each shot. This simple yet strong layout ensures minimal moving parts and exceptional reliability, with gas adjustments allowing for rates of fire between 600 and 720 rounds per minute. A 3-piston gas regulator accommodates changes in fouling levels, ensuring consistent cycling even under extreme battlefield conditions. The rate of fire and sustained firepower of the M240 and PKM offer deep insight into each weapon's intended battlefield role and engineering philosophy. The American M240, in its standard M240B configuration, maintains a cyclic rate of approximately 650 to 950 rounds per minute, depending on the gas regulator setting. Most units standardize this at around 750 rounds per minute for a balance of fire density and barrel life. However, it's important to note that actual sustained fire is managed carefully due to the weapon's heat buildup. The M240's quick-change barrel system allows gunners to alternate barrels after every 200 rounds during continuous fire, ideally with at least a 30-second pause between changes to avoid cook-offs or barrel warping. In real combat settings, gunners typically fire in bursts of 6 to 9 rounds, though trained crews can lay down suppressive fire in longer intervals when supported by a second barrel and ample cooling time. The sheer mass of the M240, especially its heavy barrel, helps absorb heat, but this is still a weapon that requires crew coordination and measured pacing to maintain long-term effectiveness without damaging components. The Russian PKM offers a similar cyclic rate, ranging from roughly 650 to 750 rounds per minute. But it achieves this with a much lighter frame and less thermal mass. As a result, the PKM's sustained fire capability is more constrained, particularly in its base infantry role. Unlike the M240, which is often crew-served with a ready second barrel, many PKMs are issued without a spare, especially in irregular forces or older Soviet-era stockpiles. This limits continuous fire and places a greater emphasis on controlled bursts and shoot-and-move tactics. Nevertheless, the PKM's lighter barrel and receiver heat up faster, but its simple, long-stroke piston system is forgiving under dirty or fouled conditions. The gun's rate of fire is high enough to suppress effectively, but not so fast that it outpaces the shooter's ability to manage heat with technique and discipline. Its design favors bursts of 3 to 5 rounds, often dictated by the rhythm of battlefield maneuver rather than doctrinal fire schedules. The effective range of a general-purpose machine gun is one of its defining combat characteristics, and in this regard, the M240 and PKM demonstrate impressive capabilities, but with important distinctions based on barrel design, ammunition, sighting systems, and doctrinal use. Starting with the American M240, the weapon's effective range is closely tied to its use of the 7.62 by 51mm NATO cartridge and its long 27.8-inch barrel, which provides optimal velocity and ballistic performance. When fired from a bipod, the M240 is effective out to roughly 800 meters against point targets, such as enemy soldiers in cover, and up to 1,800 meters for area suppression with the help of a tripod. In indirect fire roles, with T&E mechanisms and detailed range charts, trained gunners can achieve plunging fire beyond 1.8 kilometers, though actual hit probability at such distances is more a matter of volume and adjustment than precision. Importantly, the M240 is routinely equipped with optics and laser rangefinders in modern US infantry squads, which further extends its practical engagement envelope. The weapon's ballistic consistency and NATO standard ammo mean it retains lethal velocity at long ranges, making it an ideal support weapon not just for infantry squads, but also vehicle mounts and defensive emplacements. The Russian PKM, firing the older but more powerful 7.62 by 54mm R cartridge, achieves comparable and in some aspects superior range performance, despite its lighter frame. With a barrel length of about 25.6 inches, the PKM takes full advantage of the rimmed cartridge's excellent long-range energy retention. From a bipod, it can effectively engage point targets at 800 to 1,000 meters, while tripod-mounted fire can extend to around 1,500 meters or more. In the hands of a well-trained gunner using the PKP variant with enhanced barrels and optics, this envelope can stretch even further. In Soviet and post-Soviet doctrine, PKM gunners were trained to deliver enfilade fire against advancing enemy lines at extended ranges, using plunging trajectories that could inflict damage even on troops behind cover. While its iron sights are simpler than those on NATO systems, the PKM's open-top feed and design allow for easy integration of side-mounted optics, like the PSO-1 or newer Russian day-night scopes, helping it remain relevant on today's battlefields. When it comes to robustness and durability, few classes of infantry weapons are subjected to as much sustained abuse as general-purpose machine guns. Dragged through mud, sand, snow, and dust, fired until barrels glow red, and often cleaned only when time permits, GPMGs must survive not just combat, but the harsh environments that come with it. In this realm, the M240, PKM, and MG5 all possess a reputation for ruggedness, but each achieves it through distinct philosophies of design and materials. The American M240, derived from the Belgian FN MAG, is often referred to by US troops as a tank of a weapon, and for good reason. Built with milled steel components, heavy-gauge receivers, and reinforced locking mechanisms, the M240 is engineered to absorb punishment and keep operating. Its long-stroke gas piston system, coupled with its hefty barrel and bolt assembly, allows it to function reliably in dirty, wet, or sandy environments with minimal jamming, provided it receives at least a basic level of care. The downside to this tank-like build is, of course, weight. But that weight brings with it a high tolerance for abuse. The receiver alone can endure well over 100,000 rounds with proper maintenance, and the quick-change barrel system allows it to handle intense, sustained fire without catastrophic failure. Even when fouled or carbon cakes, the M240 often just works, which is why it remains a staple of American infantry, vehicle crews, and aircraft door gunners across 3 generations of conflict. The Russian PKM approaches durability through a very different lens, one rooted in wartime pragmatism and mass production. Kalashnikov's design prioritizes simplicity and mechanical forgiveness over tight tolerances or modular features. The PKM uses a stamped steel receiver, light enough to carry for hours, yet strong enough to endure sustained recoil and rough handling. Its internal components are generously spaced, allowing dirt and debris to pass through the action rather than causing jams. The gas system is straightforward and self-cleaning to a degree, and the weapon can continue to function effectively even when lubricants freeze or evaporate under extreme temperatures. In Afghanistan, Chechnya, Syria, and countless other battlefields, PKMs have been seen firing reliably with cracked stocks, dented receivers, and worn feed trays, yet still delivering accurate fire. While its barrel life and recoil dampening don't quite match Western counterparts, its mechanical reliability under poor conditions is legendary. In short, the PKM isn't so much refined as it is indestructible by design. This concludes our episode that provides a glimpse into the M240 and PKM general-purpose machine guns. So, what do you think about these weapons? What other pieces of military hardware would you like us to cover in our future episodes? Also, if you were lucky enough to see these weapons up close, or better yet, operated one, please comment. Remember to hit the subscribe button and ring that bell to stay updated with our latest content. And while you're here, why not check out another one of our exciting videos? Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.